What is up, guys? I hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering r/EntitledParents. As always, support the artists. Without them our channel wouldn't be half as interesting. Their information is in the description below. If you're new here, we're a community-based narration channel, and if you enjoy the content, why not consider liking, subscribing and maybe tickling that notification bell. And with that being said, let's get into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story is from Crazy Squirrel Girl. I get yelled at for not using handicap parking. This happened yesterday and I'm still flummoxed. I'm on mobile, blah blah. To set up my vehicle, my husband is disabled and we have a scooter that is on a lift attached to the back. Drive through any VA and you'll see these lifts. While running errands, I stopped at the grocery store. I waited for a car to back out. Third in from the door, next to the handicap parking. Score. I put my turn signal on and wait. Wave the dude and pull in. I sit there dancing in the seat because "You Spin Me Right Round" is in the radio. Suddenly, a loud knocking on my window. After I scream a little, I lower the window 2 inches. There she is, the dreaded Karen, stuck in the 90s with long stringy hair that is black at the roots 3 inches down and blonde the other 10 inches. I say, "Can I help you?" The EM said, "Why did you park here? You're obviously handicapped. Park in the next spot. I need this. I have kids." I said, no, my husband is the disabled one and he..." EM cuts me off. "Just move your car. It's gonna snow and I don't want my daughter in the snow." I say, "It's illegal for me to park there because my husband is not with me." "I don't care. You have that thingy," and points towards the back of my van. "Just park there." I say, "Okay," and I glance in my rear view mirror. "You shouldn't leave your kid in the car alone with the driver door open. That's how kidnapping happens. Goodbye," and I roll my window up. EM makes a screeching noise and hits my window again. Basically, I waited until she got back in her car and drove off, heading into the store and tried to shop. She would appear like a pop-up book from hell, keep making snide comments and then disappear again. Our next story is from Wafer 2016. I had to report our neighbours to Environmental Canada for the toxic wasteland they called a pool. Hello Reddit, I hope your new year is going well. This story is a fair few years old, but the memory and the stench are burned into my cranium forever. We were part of a co-op along with our neighbours, and everyone was friendly and helpful to each other for years while we kids grew up. After about 20 years, our immediate neighbours decided to retire and move to the city, so they sold their house to what we quickly came to call the neighbours from hell. These people were loud, entitled, obnoxious balls of butt crust. The family consisted of a mum, dad, 2 snot-nosed crotch goblins, and grandpa became the bane of the neighbourhood. Day 1, Grandpa knocks on our front door and announces he's going to tear down our fence so their kids could play on my sister's playset. I stared at him like a doofus for a moment, then picked up my chin and told him firmly that wasn't an option and his goblins were most definitely not welcome in our yard whenever they wanted. Grandpa huffed, glared and mumbled that we should just see about that. Fast forward a few weeks, we've had to kick the monsters out of our yard 3 times. Grandpa decided he wasn't happy about that and started smashing our fence with a hockey stick, trying to break it apart like some sort of sensile ninja high in prune juice. I went out and forcefully told him the cops were only a phone call away, and he scuttled back into his house leaving a cloud of Bengay and Aspercreme behind him. Now I need to step back in time a bit here and explain our previous neighbours had installed a gorgeous pool in their backyard. The dad took amazing care of it and it was pristine, practically sparkling in the sun every day they lived there. When they moved, they left behind 1,500 in pool supplies so the new folks could take care of it as well. Fast forward again about a month into the new family's residency. The pool started to turn green, the kids are swimming in it. We ignore it thinking they would give them a chance to get it done. 6 weeks in, the pool is dark green and starting to smell. The kids are still swimming in it. I meet the dad outside one day and ask if he's going to clean it. He tells me to go F myself. 8 weeks in, the stench is becoming overpowering, the water is growing fur and the kids are swimming in it. I call the city and tell them what's going on. They came out and look at things. Tell them to clean the pool. He tells them to get effed. 9 weeks in, the water is almost black. It's growing more fur and the kids are still swimming in it. The stench is starting to invade our house. I call the city again with similar results. 10 weeks in, the water is black. The entire neighbourhood smells like a stagnant swamp and the kids are still swimming in it. I call the health department, they come out, climb out of their car, gag and drive away. I get a call telling me it's so bad Environment Canada needs to get involved. The kids are still swimming in it. I call Environment Canada. At first they seem to have doubts, then they send someone round. He pulls up in his car, climbs out, almost pukes, and drives away so fast he left skid marks. The next day I'm alerted to strange sounds from next door. I went out to our deck. There were people head to toe in hazmat suits, testing the water in the pool with a huge truck out front. Hazmat returned a couple of days later, still wearing their suits, and dismantled the pool. Their yard was left with a huge muddy circle as a mark of shame, and the stench took a week to clear, but the toxic waste was finally gone. The neighbours pouted and huffed and complained, but we didn't care, and we still never let their goblins use my sister's play park. I'm probably going to butcher this name, but the next story is from Nicknames Sucksator. EB and EMOB wants to try on my wife's wedding dress. This story happened shortly before our wedding 5 years ago, but I didn't know about it until my mother-in-law brought it up during dinner the other night. When I asked my wife why she didn't tell me, she said because it was under a lot of stress at the time and she didn't want to freak me out even more if she had told me. Not to mention, there was nothing I could do. I'm posting it here with her permission. She says I'm a better writer than her. I disagree, but we'll see about that. The cast: Cosette, hope I got that right, the love of my life, my wife, and target of EB's entitlement. MIL: Cosette's mum, my mother-in-law, a strict no-nonsense German lady who doesn't take crap from others. EB entitled bride. EMOB entitled mother of the bride. Manager of the store, doubles as a sales associate and alterations guy. And me, your friendly neighbourhood narrator. I wasn't there when this happened because of the whole groom can't see the bride in her dress before the wedding. This is based on what my wife and MIL remember. Now on to the story. A month or so before the wedding, Cosette and her mum were at the bridal shop squeezing in the final alterations on her dress. The dress Cosette had picked out was a ball gown with sprigs of flowery lace on the shoulder and hip, and it came with 3 colours, white, cream and pale pink for the fabric, and 4 colours, white, cream, pink and black for the lace. The only sample they had for that style came in white with the lace, but my wife chose to go with cream and pale pink. While Cosette, MIL and the manager were in one booth working, there was another bride and her mother trying on dresses with another associate in the booth next to theirs. Cosette wasn't really paying attention to what was going on in the other booth, but MIL remembered how EB was going through dress after dress and kept criticising everything she tried on. MIL went as far to call her a brat, saying how they were ugly and etc. That was when EMOB came up to their booth and clamped a hand on Cosette's shoulder, nearly sending her jumping a mile high and nearly tearing a hole in the skirt that was being pinned up. The mother-in-law said, "Hey, I love your dress." Cosette says, thanks, I see your daughter's trying on one just like mine. She looks beautiful." At this point, she knows nothing good can come from this moment. She sees EMOB's sickly sweet smile and EB glaring from over her shoulder. "I know, but the thing is, EB really doesn't like the colour. It just doesn't flatter her. She loves this one. Maybe you can let us try this one on after you're done with it." Cosette and MIL exchange worried glances. Mother-in-law says, "I'm sorry, but my daughter has already purchased the dress. It's not a sample." "Nonsense. Come on, just let us try it on really quick. It's not like it's a big deal." "No, it seriously is a big deal. It's my dress. I bought it months ago. It's already been tailored to fit me. I don't think that's going to fit your daughter." Note, according to witnesses, EB was tall and thin, while she is shorter with an athletic build. There was really no way EB was going to fit it. Manager, through a mouthful of pins, "I'm sorry, but we can't let you try on the dress. It's already been bought by the bride. If you would like, we can order it in the same style with the colours you want." EB then says, "Mum, I want to try on that dress now." EMOB reaches out and tries to grab at the skirt, like she thinks ripping it off means she get to have it, but MIL, with her lightning fast reflexes, slaps her hand away with a hard crack. MIL says, "If you try that again, I will hit harder." Cosette turns to the manager fuming, "If you let that woman try on my dress, we will take it and finish the alterations somewhere else." In the end, the manager ended up telling EB and EMOB that if they didn't stop harassing my wife and MIL, they were going to be kicked out of the store. Same goes for MIL if she hit someone else again. This didn't happen, and EB and EMOB left shortly afterwards. When my wife came back to the store a week or so later to pick up the dress, the manager mentioned that they haven't been seen since. And honestly, there's no other way to end this story other than the part where they thankfully didn't try to steal the dress, or else they would have to face my mother-in-law's wrath. Our next story is from Shy Girl Turned Sassy. I remember that name from somewhere. Entitled Mum, Hey Teenage Girl, Let My Son Grope You. This happened when I, female, was 13 and was attending a male friend's birthday party. We attended the same school and a lot of other kids from our school were also there, along with their parents. As I gave my friend his present, I wished him a happy birthday with a hug when he was cutting the cake. Another boy from our school, who was a notorious bully, stood right next to me. He kept trying to touch my breasts. I was already quite developed. I kept telling him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. He kept trying to put his arm around me and trying to grope my chest. His friends were standing around us and I could hear them snicker. Finally I had enough. I yelled at him to get away from me. My friend's mum, the hostess, asked me what was wrong. I told her what the bully had been doing. She sternly told the bully to apologise and to stop harassing me, otherwise he would be asked to leave. Now the bully's mum, EM, stepped in. She asked my friend's mum why she was scolding her son. Friend's mum explained what the bully had been doing. EM's response was something like this: "I don't see what the big deal is. The girl hugged your son. Why can't she just let my son touch her?" Then she turned to me and said, "You need to stop being so stuck up and learn to be friendly. My son puts his arm around you. What's wrong with that? Stop complaining." I told her that I didn't like her son and didn't like him touching me. Friend's mum told her to stop making a scene and that her son needs to apologise. EM acted indignant as she stormed off. She said something like, "If that girl's okay with your son touching her, she's probably okay with all the boys touching her. You're just being rude to us." My friend's mum was absolutely wonderful. She asked if I was okay and told me if I'd done the right thing by telling the boy off. This was my first encounter with an entitled parent, outside of my own family that is. And this story is from Demolition Lady. Pause the movie. My child has to go to the bathroom. So a little backstory. I work as a technician at a cinema. It's really fun and I enjoy it every day, but I do meet my fair share of entitled parents. I've been kicked, yelled at and thrown popcorn at several occasions. As you know, Frozen 2 is currently on the programme. It attracts a lot of people, so it's set up on our biggest auditorium. This specific show was packed. That means there were a little over 400 people. The cast is me, myself and EM, entitled mother. In the first 15 minutes I have to check that everything is going fine in the auditorium, temperature, sound and so forth. I stand on the side and see a mother coming over to me with her kids and doing too rather loudly. She spoke really loudly during our entire conversation. EM said, "Excuse me, hello?" And I say, "Is everything alright? My daughter needs to use the bathroom." "Okay, it's out the door and to the right," and then she cuts me off. "No, you have to pause the movie." "What?" "I can't pause it unless it's something very serious. My daughter needs to go to the bathroom." I say, "Sorry, but I can't pause for that." "But there was a line before the movie and we don't want to miss any part of the movie. We paid a lot of money to see this movie and you're required to do this." I say, "I'm sorry, but there's a packed auditorium and I just can't pause it for one person." "But I have 2 kids." I say, "If you need to use the bathroom, you can do that during the movie, but I can't pause it while you do. If you excuse me, I have to go to the next auditorium now." I turn and start to exit the auditorium and suddenly feel something thrown at my head. Yeah, our biggest. I don't know the word in English and Google Translate says goblet, so popcorn goblet. Oh, that's so good. Bad choice, lady. I got out of the auditorium and the manager called security and she was taken out of the cinema. She surprisingly didn't make much noise, but one of her kids spits at our security guy. We didn't press any charges because it was sort of a minor and no one got hurt on our part. Did have a bump on the head the next day though. If anyone knows the correct word for popcorn goblet, please tell me. I'm so curious now. I think it's just a big tub of popcorn, right? But I think we should from now on, call it a popcorn goblet. As always, guys, thanks again for being here. Thanks for listening to these stories. If you did enjoy, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and that notification bell. It really, really does make a difference to this channel. As you can see, we've changed it a bit recently. I hope you do enjoy the name and all that kind of stuff and it doesn't put you off. Thank you. Much love, guys. Take care.